Hey guys, it's GameFace here and welcome back to part 2 of my Evolving Liverpool mini-series I'm currently doing on career mode. If you didn't see the first part, then you can still go ahead and watch it. The link to it is in the description below, and we will be cracking on with the second part. And for those of you who don't know, basically we play 2 seasons, 1 season on each part with Liverpool in this case, and we try and evolve them, try and improve them, and take them to the next level. Last season, in the last part, we managed to get to second place, pretty decent, although we were not in any European competitions. Obviously this year we got to deal with the Champions League and those sort of things. We will quickly get on with the squad report, but before we do, if we could go ahead and hit 40 likes on today's part, then I would really appreciate it. And if you haven't already, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well, it'd be absolutely fantastic. And let's crack on with the squad report. So this was suggested for me to do in this episode. I did forget to include it into the last one, but like I usually do, if you want to have a look at individual players in a little bit more depth, then obviously just feel free to pause the video whenever you want. And I think in terms of the growth throughout most of the teams, been fairly decent. Obviously not every player is at an age that they are going to grow loads, and we don't have loads of really young players. Obviously got a couple, Pulisic being one of them, and yeah, sim on to the next season now. And here we go into the new season now, our second season as Liverpool manager. And as you can see, this is the group of teams that we're going to come up against. Aston Villa have come back up from the Championship. We've also got Newcastle coming back up as well, and Norwich. The rest of them being joined obviously by the current Premier League teams. And yeah, let's have a look at what the wage budget is, how much money we've got to spend. 62 million, just under 63. Youth development, it's a low expectation. We won't really focus on it. I don't really do that, to be honest, on the evolving career modes. It's about evolving teams quite quickly, having quick turnarounds with success. Brand exposure, £170 million worth of earnings from shirt sales. Financial, within 2 seasons, increased the club worth by 10%. We're doing pretty well. And win the league title this year. That's a big one. They also need to win the FA Cup as well. We'll try and do both of those. It's going to be very difficult. And reach the semi-final of the Champions Cup. I think that is very, very ambitious. We'll try it, but I can't promise anything. Very ambitious for our first year in the Champions League to be able to deal with all those different games, all those different competitions. It's going to be tough, but we're going to try and give it a go. We've got to take a look at the transfer market now. We're going to take a look first of all at the players that we want to sell and where we can improve this team. Okay, these are the players that I've transfer listed. Some surprising ones in there potentially, some bigger names in there as well. Danny Ings is one player that I'm going to be transfer listing. We have 6 strikers at this point, 6 decent strikers or something like that, 5 or 6 anyway. And Danny Ings is a player that I'm not particularly looking to keep, so we're going to get rid of him. Just kind of cut down on the strikers. Got a little bit too many actually in that position, surprisingly. Allen's another player. I think he's someone that Liverpool must have signed and kind of kept a secret because I've not heard of him before. We will be getting rid of him. Wisdom going as well. Flanagan, Milner, Clavan, Jones and Bogdan make up the rest of the players. We transfer listed quite a few bigger names there, like I say, Milner and Clavan. The shame to get rid of Clavan, but it was the case where we had sort of 7 centre-backs or 6 centre-backs. Quite a few anyway, so we needed to get rid of one. Clavan happened to be the worst one out of the batch. So at the moment, really happy with the squad. We obviously need to add to it a little bit more with us having some extra games this year, but now we need to go through the actual team and decide where we need to strengthen. I've just realised something. Didn't we sign another CDM? Didn't we sign Xabi Alonso or someone like that? Yeah, he is actually joining us. I think it might be in a couple of days' time. I was just considering signing a new centre mid or a new CDM because I think we were just one player short in that position. He's coming in now, so maybe we don't need to. We should have that confirmation in the next couple of days, I think, is when it usually happens. And we should just get confirmation here through the email that he joins us. And as you can see, he does player contract arrival, and it is Xabi Alonso joining the side. Fantastic stuff for us. And that means our squad is actually complete, really, without having to make any signings. It sounds a bit strange. But I think our squad is pretty much ready. But the only other position I can really think of is maybe left back, although that's a stretch really, because obviously we have a few different players that can play there. Gomez can play there, Moreno can play there, but maybe we just sign one just as a fill-in for Bernat as he is out injured at the moment. Okay, so we're going to put in a bid for Jordan Amavi, an Aston Villa player. It's going to be £8 million the bid for him. We're just going to wait and see what sort of overall he is as well. We will quickly scout him, it shouldn't take too many days, and see what that comes out as, because I think we need another left back. I don't want him to be better than Bernat. I think Bernat's already a very good player. He'll be back in 2 weeks as well, by the way, from his injury, so we don't really need someone that's going to completely nick his place. I'm not really aiming to do that. Someone that's just a couple of overalls less than him ideally, and they can play as almost like the second left back for us. Because we need plenty of options. We're playing the Champions League, a lot of games obviously in the league as well this season, so we do need plenty of options, but I actually think we already have loads of options in every position at the moment, so there's not really that many places for us to strengthen. I don't want to get rid of the Liverpool identity too much. So I think we will near enough keep the team the same until January. We might well play a couple of games to kind of make up the time a little bit. We've got Danny Ings here, a bid from Southampton. We're going to ask for 13 million. Villa have straight away accepted the bid for Jordan Amavi, £8 million. Not too sure whether I'm overpaying here or not. We'll wait and see when the scout report comes back on him. And it's going to be 60 grand a week. Quite a pay increase for him, but we'll give it to him anyway, and we'll go and import a first team player. And we've got the scout report back on him, 77 overall, exactly what I was after, to be honest. And I think we will sign him up here as he accepts the contract. And we sign him for £8 million. Happy with that one. Very good signing, I think, for us. Young player, decent stats as well. So I'm very happy to have been able to sign him. We've got Southampton coming back and matching the £13 million for Danny Ings. He goes. We've got bids in for Klein and Origi. Man City want Klein. I'm going to just reject all offers. No interest whatsoever in getting rid of him. A vital part of our wing-backs. We've also got another bid coming in, this time for Origi. 21 million from Wolfsburg. Again, similar sort of situation to Sturridge. I want to have plenty of different options in our striker position this year because we need them really going into so many competitions. So I'm not really going to be looking to sell any other players, I wouldn't have thought, other than the ones I've listed. So players like obviously John Flanagan, who we've gotten a bid for here, can happily leave because we don't really need them at the club. Another bid in for Danny Ings, this time from Real Betis. Unlikely that he'll want to go abroad, but we'll ask for 13 million anyway. And we have got confirmation, I think, here of Bernat returning, is it? Yes, he does return for us, just as we sign our new left back, but that was what was expected to happen, really. Anyway, we have loads of players at the club, so we need to get rid of as many as possible. This might be a sign of a few players leaving here. Danny Ings does go to Southampton, 10.5 million is added onto our budget. Flanagan has had hit that offer, that counter offer matched by Norwich, so he could be on the way out as well. And another transfer offer in this time for Dejan Lovren from Chelsea. A player that maybe hasn't been that great for Liverpool in real life a lot of the time, not particularly consistent recently, but actually we want to keep him. He's 83 rated, and again, a very important squad player potentially during this season. We need loads of centre-backs. We need loads of players in every position, really, and we are going to try and keep this squad as packed as possible, full of depth, to hopefully go on and be very successful in all the different trophies this year. A transfer for him for Allen, one of the players, again, we're looking to try and get rid of. Birmingham City want him. We'll let them have him for just over £1.3 million. And we've also got a player sold. It's John Flanagan. He leaves. We get 1.6 million of that. Bid in for Lloyd Jones from Shrewsbury. We're going to ask for what it's worth, and hopefully they do agree to that counter offer. Transfer for him for Simon Mignolet, a player that's not being listed, but I would consider offers for. 6.5 million from Monaco. For me to actually go into the effort to sign a new goalkeeper, we'll ask for 9.5 million. They might well go ahead and match that. I think they could do actually, but we'll wait and see. Obviously, over the next couple of days, Birmingham coming back and saying they'll pay 1.3 million for Allen. We'll happily accept that offer. Shrewsbury matching the offer for Lloyd Jones as well. Transfer for him for Bogdan. It's from Hull City, 1.3 million. We'll ask for 1.6. Hope that they go ahead and match it, slightly more than what it's worth. And we've also got another transfer for him, this time from Monaco, coming back on the Simon Mignolet deal. We're going to ask for 9.2 million. Again, if they want me to go into the effort of signing a new secondary goalkeeper, then they're going to have to pay a little bit more than what he is worth. Player sold. It is Allen going to Birmingham City and Lloyd Jones going to Shrewsbury. Hull City have matched the £1.6 million bid for Bogdan. We've got Monaco matching the 9.2 for Mignolet as well. So two goalkeepers looking to be on the way out here if they can agree personal terms. We'll move on to looking for a new secondary goalkeeper right now. It might be the case that I keep it with a Premier League keeper. Might look to someone like maybe Fraser Forster. Yeah, I think Forster could be a good one for us. We'll put in an £8 million bid. Not really too sure how much he's worth or what overall he is, but he kind of fits everything I'm after in a secondary goalkeeper. What we do have is transfer talks breaking down between Mignolet and Monaco. Typical, just so we put in that bid. And a bid in for Wisdom from West Brom. I'm pretty sure he was on loan at them, so kind of makes sense that they want to now sign him. We're going to ask for £2.7 million. Hopefully they go ahead and match it. Player sold. Bogdan leaves for Hull City. We do have Southampton accepting that bid for Fraser Forster, £8 million. But seems a little bit pointless now with Mignolet staying. I might just list Mignolet, to be honest, and see what other teams come in for him. For those of you wondering, we do have Ward as our third choice goalkeeper, obviously once we get ourselves a second choice goalkeeper back. So plenty of different choices for our goalkeeper position as well. Something, again, I think we pretty much need going into this season. We'll go to a rotational player. Hopefully he agrees to that personal terms. West Brom matching the £2.7 million that we wanted for Wisdom, and we got Karius wanting to discuss wages. My only concern currently with this team is that we don't have many world-class players. If you look at like Manchester City, Man United, Chelsea, they have a few different world-class players. We don't have that many in this current side. We've got Coutinho, we've got a lot of players that are decent, Coutinho is obviously a world-class player, I think, here with 88 rated. We don't have many of them. He's probably the only one, in fact. Okay, I think the only way we could fit in another genuinely very, very good player in our team is by putting one at centre-back. Now, we currently have a lot of different centre-backs, so we would get rid of Nastasic because he's injury-prone. You can't really have that throughout the season, potential with injuries there. So we'd get rid of him, and we put in a new, very, very good centre-back alongside Matip. That means Van Dijk would drop down onto the bench, Saka would obviously drop down onto the reserves, and it'd kind of move things around a little bit. But it would just mean that we have a lot of really, really good centre-backs, which I know a few teams do have. You look at Bayern Munich, they've got some really, really good centre-backs throughout the squad, a lot of different centre-backs. In fact, same with Juventus as well. But yeah, we just need to now decide who to bring in that position, and they have to obviously be a fantastic overall to kind of justify moving around all those different players. So we've got to find someone that's 85 rated at least. Toby Alderweireld will be very, very nice. He's 86 rated. But I'll continue to look through different options. So I think we will put in a bid for Toby and try and sign him as an 86 rated centre-back. We'll get rid of Nastasic, £80 million on top of that as well. Nastasic is actually worth 18.5, so a decent chunk of money going towards that bid. Hopefully Spurs accept it. It'll be difficult to know exactly what's going to happen. We're also facing competition from Manchester City, and I think it said Juventus as the other one as well, but I can't quite remember. The bid for Fraser Forster has been accepted. Now, do I actually sign him? Because obviously we've still got Mignolet at the club, so I think we'll leave that on for now and decide based on any bids that we get from Mignolet. Player sold, Wisdom leaves us, we've also got Karius accepting the contract, and Spurs saying it's unacceptable, not interested in the player that we included, and that means they have rejected the bid. We're just going to up it by quite a bit, £22 million, just going to keep upping it. We have a lot of money to spend, we can afford to go a little bit over budget. Okay, they've rejected it again. Maybe they don't want Nastasic. How are we going to deal with this then? Okay, we'll just go with £34 million. We'll have to get rid of Nastasic by himself. We'll try and sign Toby up now and see whether they are okay with that bid. Spurs, we've got Fraser Forster again, just his offer has been accepted. We're just waiting to see what happens with Mignolet at the moment. We've got our first game of the season against Manchester City coming up here. We will actually play that game before we sim onto the January transfer window. And yeah, we need to go ahead and list Nastasic because no plans to really use him if we can sign Toby Alderweireld. Okay, on to this game against Manchester City now. This is the side I'm going to go with. We've got Karius starting in goal, Trippier right back, Matip and Van Dijk as my two centre-backs, Bernat as my left back, Matuidi, Henderson, Lallana as my three midfielders, and in front of that, Coutinho, Mane and Roberto Firmino. The way I do these with the evolving career mode series is I only really show the goals in the game, so if there's no goals, then obviously there'll be nothing to show you, but we'll wait and see how we get on in the opening game of the season against Manchester City. Firmino wins it back. This is good. He needs another option in the box now, though. Looking to play it out. Matuidi to Lallana. Needs to find that pass inside to Coutinho. He can turn and shoot, and it's 1-0. Fantastic build-up play. Decent strike from Coutinho. Didn't have much space to take the shot, but he got it of the way anyway, and he's made it 1-0. Very, very good strike. Fully deserved, I'd say. We've had a couple of decent chances now. It's our third proper chance, and this time we've taken it 1-0. Oh, it's 1-0. 2 own goals in this game so far. I'm not too sure who got the final shot away. It might have been Fernando. It was, I think. I can't see it going down as his goal, though, surely. Deflects massively off. Ooh, is that Bernat? It comes off his back? It's difficult to tell. Yeah, completely deflects and goes in the back of the net. Such an unlucky one to concede. Good chance. Gundogan looking to cut in. David Silva, the pass into the back of the net. Somehow not offside. There was a little suspicion of offside when they first played it, but there's 9 minutes left. They're winning the game 2-1. They're being very, very clinical. Not created that many chances. The better ones have certainly been in this half, but yeah, very frustrating the way they've done that. Unable to win it back off Gundogan here, though. Just not strong enough there, Kieran Trippier, I think. And it's passed into the back of the net by David Silva, 2-1. That's it, lost the game 2-1. Disappointing as that, because it's not deserved whatsoever. It's 2 own goals, really, for us and them to begin with, 1 each. But yeah, very, very much undeserved. We've had some very good chances. The difference is they took them, we didn't take ours. And I say it so often, it happens so often on career mode. The AI create a couple of chances, they score them. We create loads of chances, we don't score enough of them. So we've lost the opening game of the season 2-1. They want £50 million for Alderweireld. That is ridiculous from Tottenham. And Nastasic not happy with his role at the club, hence why he's leaving. £50 million is a lot of money. 40 million, should we go with? Tottenham accept the £40 million bid. We were competing with Real Madrid there. They put in a bid for £36 million. we obviously managed to outbid Real Madrid. Bit of a strange one, but it happens. 180 grand a week, a 2-year contract is what he wants. We're going to give him a 3-1 anyway, and we will go crucial first team player. Before he can sign, though, we do have to sim the next Premier League game of the season against Leicester City. Maybe should have simmed this one through the usual route as opposed to the calendar. In fact, maybe not, because we won the game 3-0. Very happy with that, our first 3 points of the season. And to top it off, we've got Alderweireld accepting the wage offer that we put in, 180 grand a week, and he joins us for £40 million, a huge signing. Probably our last one of the summer transfer window, but what a way to end it on a big marquee signing like him. 86 rated, going to be really, really good for us, I hope, in this season. It means that we have to obviously look to try and get rid of one of our current centre-backs at the moment, and we'll wait and see what Alderweireld's able to add to our team. Hopefully a lot, to be honest, because obviously 86 rated, you'd expect him to do a decent job for us. A bid in for James Milner here from Middlesbrough, 5.5 million, will last for 6 million, just to make sure we can get as much money as possible for him. On to the next game against Crystal Palace now. It's an away game. We will sim it through the calendar, wait and see how we get on. It should be 3 points for us, but you never know the way this game goes occasionally. Yeah, and that's a demonstration of it. We lost the game 1-0 to Palace. Milner leaves us, or at least they've matched it anyway, so he should well leave us. And just to make things even worse, Daniel Sturridge is out for 3 months with a bad injury. So that means he's going to be out. We do have obviously plenty of players in that position to fill in, but you want the best players to be able to play there. And at the moment, Daniel Sturridge is going to be out, so we won't have the best possible players on the bench or in the starting 11. Bidding for Clavan from Newcastle, actually, £4 million. A little bit less than I thought it was going to be worth. I was thinking more about 6, to be honest, if not a little bit more. So we'll counter offer that, and I hope they're able to match it. And we've also got James Milner sold to Middlesbrough. 4.6 million we get of that. And I think we will just skip past transfer deadline day. Don't really see any more deals needed to be done. So I think now we'll just sim on to the January transfer window. Okay, so we're in January now. Let's take a look at how our season has unfolded so far. No idea how we've got on here, but we will start from the very beginning, quickly go through and have a brief look at how we've got on. So West Ham here beat them, Watford decent, some draws there, not too good. Beating Chelsea, that's good news. Didn't even look at our Champions League group, but we got PSV as one of our teams which we managed to beat. Beat Middlesbrough in the Cup, beat Porto as well. So far so good in the group stage. Bayern Munich in there as well, hell of a draw is that one. Lost to them 2-1, beat Newcastle, lost to Hull, drew to Swansea, got through past Bury, beat PSV, so some decent results, most of all. Actually, no, there's a couple of slip-ups against lesser oppositions. Middlesbrough there. Drawing against Bayern Munich's not too bad. Drawing to Spurs. Losing to Spurs in the quarterfinals of the EFL Cup. That's disappointing. So we've gone out of that. Southampton beating them. Drawing against Porto. Beating Villa. Everton a win there, and same with Man United and Arsenal, decent streak, and beating West Brom as well, so a good winning streak recently. That means we are through to the round of 16. I'll quickly just show you that we do have Real Madrid in the next round, I did notice that, and we're second again, 2 points behind Southampton, strangely. Might have to nick their goalkeeper, Fraser Forster. We didn't get around to signing in the last window. Maybe we should sign him this time round, just to weaken their side a little bit. That's tempting. But yeah, 2 points behind them, and we've got Chelsea very close behind. In fact, the top 5 is very, very close. Only 5 points between them. So yeah, anything could happen really between now and the end of the season. But like I say, we are knocked out of the EFL Cup at the moment, so a little bit disappointing. And the board are concerned with the squad depth. That's the last thing I'm concerned about, unless there's been loads of injuries or suspensions or whatever. I'm not really concerned about it at the moment, particularly in defensive positions. Okay, so we'll take a look at the injuries that we have, assuming that we do have some. Burnett again out injured and suspended, a double whammy there. Plenty of players out, as always. We've got Origi out for 5 months, that is ridiculous. Burnett comes back in a day. Trent Alexander-Arnold out for 4 weeks, and Alonso out for 6 weeks. Disappointing. A few of them, similar sort of injuries there. But yeah, we're doing okay, I think, in terms of the team that we have at the moment. The squad depth is looking alright. Coutinho's gone up to 89 overall. So we're actually doing very, very well at the moment. Karius has gone up as well. There are obviously a few injuries, but we have plenty of players that can fill in for them, and we will continue to rotate them round. But overall, I'm not actually that concerned by the squad depth. I think we're doing very good. Plenty of defenders there. Centre-back wise, we have some great 84 rated defenders that are struggling to get anywhere near the first team. So that's good news for us. And I don't really know whether we need to add to the squad much more, to be honest. We'll take a look at more of the emails, and I'll decide from there. Okay, so this is something I didn't quite realise. The sale of Roberto Firmino. Basically, Firmino is not happy, I assume. So they're going to accept a bid for him, basically. So we need to look to replace him. That's a big, big one for us now in January. Wasn't aware that that was going to happen. A little bit disappointing. A lot of players want to leave as well, understandably. There's a lot of different players that we have at the club. It's a big squad. Firmino would like to leave the club. But yeah, that's disappointing. It's very, very disappointing. He wanted to go somewhere where he feels more suited to. It's a strange thing to say. But then we now need to take a look at a new striker to come in and replace him. Because obviously that's a big player to go in and try and replace. A very, very good overall, 85 rated. So we need someone that's going to be as good, if not better, to replace him. I think this is the guy we're going to go with. I know it's a little bit unoriginal. A lot of people like to sign him, but that's because he's a very good striker. And to be honest, on these evolving career mode series that I've been doing at the moment, I've not actually signed him before. So we are going to sign him now. Firmino's going to go the other way as part of the deal. Luckily, that means he doesn't go into the Premier League as part of this deal. £34.5 million is how much he is worth. So on top of that, we'll go with 15 million, or in fact, we'll go with 18 million. We just want this deal to be over with and done, so Firmino doesn't leave for much less than what he's worth. We've got some more games coming up here. We've got a game against West Ham. We're going to sim it through the calendar. It's an away game. Have we got... Yes, we have got ourselves 3 points. Very good news for us. We need them as well. It's very competitive at the top. We need to continue to string some wins together. But I think overall the club's running pretty well at the moment. Very, very happy with how things are going. We also need to try and sign Lacazette and get rid of Firmino as quickly as possible. Talking of that deal, it has been accepted. Just need to move on to the wage, and hopefully 100 grand a week should do it. Crucial first team player, and he should sign. It's going to be another marquee player, another very, very big player for us, so hopefully he will agree to that. Personal terms, and I've got Sacco, a bid in for him, £21 million. He's very unhappy. Juventus wanting to sign him. I think it's worth looking to get rid of him. We'll ask for £27 million though, see how much Juventus are willing to stretch to. Another bid in, this time for Clavan. I'm assuming that he didn't end up going to Newcastle because Newcastle have come in for him again. I'm pretty sure we had a bid for Newcastle before in January. That deal must have broken down, so we're going to ask for 4.3 million and see whether they are willing to accept it this time. Okay, on to Rotherham away in the Emirates FA Cup. This is a trophy we have to win, by the way. Maybe I've just jinxed that now that I've simmed the game. How have we got on? I don't need to say it, but it's a team we should be beating. It's obvious. Have we though? Because let's remember, things are different on this game. We have just scraped past them 1-0. I wonder what team was put out for that. To only win 1-0, that's an interesting one for us. Hopefully we can go even further in that competition. Lacazette has accepted the contract offer. That means Firmino leaves us. It's time for him to leave. He's unsettled. He wanted to leave, and we had to get rid of him before the board sold him for much less than what he's worth. So Lacazette comes in and fills his place. Juventus are only willing to pay £21 million for Sacco. We want £24 million. That's what we'll say this time round. Newcastle only willing to pay 3.8 million. I think that's a little bit cheap, to be honest, for Clavan. I still saw him as more of a £6 million player, to be honest, but we will go with £4.2 million and we'll wait and see whether they're able to match it. Juventus have matched Sacco's £24 million price tag. Van Dijk and Matuidi, Pulisic and Lottin also accepting all those contracts as well. I've just offered them to try and keep them at the club. Klein's come back about the new contract, despite asking me for a new wage, by the way. He emailed me and said that he wanted a better wage. He's been thinking recently about his future, and he decided he doesn't want to sign a contract extension, despite asking for a higher wage. Strange, but we'll deal with it, and it might be that we have to try and sign a replacement for him. That replacement could well be someone like Kyle Walker. We got Clavan matching, or Newcastle matching the bid for Clavan, 4.2 million. That could see him leaving in the next few days. Okay, on to this game against Crystal Palace. We will submit through the usual route, and we've got Lacazette starting this game, a very strong team out. We will just go ahead and submit a few minutes in. It's a 3-0 win, very, very comfortable. Let's crack on with some more transfers. A very good 3 points for us here. Sacco leaves for Juventus. £20.5 million is what is added to our budget for him. And I don't think we need to look for a replacement for him. We have plenty of other options in the squad. A bid in for Klein, a player that's unhappy. £24 million from Atletico Madrid. We will ask for a little bit more, just try and get as much money as possible for him. I think, in fact, 38 will be the amount we're going to ask for. It's quite a bit more than what they've put in a bid for, but we're going to wait and see how much we can stretch them by. Again, against Southampton here, pretty much the exact same team, I think, starting for this game. And we have got potentially Danny Ings starting for them. In fact, he's on the bench for this game, our former player. But still a decent side here for Southampton. Fraser Forster in goal, a player that we nearly signed earlier on in the season. Coutinho opens the scoring. Mane scores 3 minutes later. We'll sim it, and it's another 3-0 win for us. Atletico Madrid coming back and saying they'll match a £38 million for Klein. But I'm not going to think about that too much, about replacing him that much. I will obviously put in a bid for Walker now. but I just can't see him going ahead with the contract terms and obviously relocating. I can't really see that happening. It might do, but we won't really think about him leaving that much, to be honest. I can see him probably having to stay in England, to be honest. We will put in a bid now for Kyle Walker and try and just make sure we have a replacement in case. £30 million should do it. Okay, he has decided to accept the wage contract, and he has left. £33.5 million added onto our transfer budget. Manchester City rejecting the bid. They want £41.5 million. Of course they do. They've just realised that we've sold one of our best right-backs. In fact, our best right-back. £36 million. We are going to pay as much as possible, basically, for Klein. Wait, not for Klein, for Kyle Walker. Speaking of Kyle Walker, they have gone and accepted the bid for him. Let's move on to his wage demands. He wants 160 grand a week. We will offer him a 3-year contract as well, crucial first-team player, and he will sign for us as a replacement for Klein. And he does just in time for this next game against Southampton in the FA Cup. Fantastic signing for us, really happy with that. Obviously wasn't looking to get rid of Klein, I wanted him to stay, but ultimately we had to get rid of him because he wanted to leave. A bid in from Juventus again for another one of our centre-backs, Nastasic this time round, £20.5 million. They're certainly going to have to go a little bit higher than that. We are willing to let him go if he wants to, but we obviously will have to look at potentially bringing in another centre-back to cover for him, although we do have plenty of options if he does leave. This game against Southampton will be simmed. It's in the Emirates FA Cup. What round are we in now? Not really too sure, but it should be fairly early on, I think, because this is the first game in the FA Cup against Rotherham. We are going to sim it. It's very risky because they're doing very well in the league at the moment, and we have just played them. We did just beat them 3-0, but this is simmed slightly differently, and as a result, we've lost the game 2-1. Fantastic. We're out of the FA Cup. Not what I was hoping for at all. Transfer in from Middlesbrough for Mignolet. Disappointing still to be out of the FA Cup like that. Gutted about that one, but we will have to move on. We've asked for 6.5 million for Mignolet. Juventus come back and say they'll pay £24 million. We'll ask for 25, and I think they'll probably match that. They have done. They've matched it. Middlesbrough have said they'll pay 5.5 million for Mignolet, and I think we'll just accept that, get him out the door, and sign Fraser Forster to weaken Southampton. Tactical thinking. Player sold. Nastasic leaves for Juventus. We've also got Mignolet going to Middlesbrough. Southampton accept our £40 million bid for Forster. That's 14, not 40, don't worry. Not quite spending that much. 80 grand a week, and we will go with, I think, a 2-year deal will do. Important first team player, hopefully he agrees to that. Okay, now onto a game against Spurs. I wouldn't usually sim away games because it usually doesn't end very well, but we have no choice. It's transfer deadline day, so I can't sim through the calendar, so I have to sim through here to be able to sign any other players. So, how are we going to get on? Yeah, not very well by the looks of it. Dembele scores 22 minutes in. We're losing this game 1-0. That's always the case, really, with away games. You always seem to lose them. Between you get sent off, it gets even worse for us. We'll skip it, and we've lost the game 2-1. Disappointing, but expected. Fraser Forster accepts the contract and he can sign as a replacement for Simon Mignolet, who obviously went to Middlesbrough recently. £14 million, and yeah, very happy with that signing. Just put in a bid for Tar and it has been accepted. £28 million as a replacement, obviously, for the two centre-backs we've just got rid of. I don't really want to have to weaken my squad. Obviously, in January, it's not the ideal time to be doing that. So we are going to try and improve it now by adding Tar, who's hopefully going to grow in overall as well throughout the season. We will go with important first-team player and see whether he agrees to that. He does agree to it. We can sign him now for £28 million. And that'll probably be our final signing, I think, of the January transfer window. Okay, so what we're going to do now is sim past the January transfer window, move on to the Real Madrid first leg in the Champions League. Obviously, it's around a 16. Again, I'll say it as I did at the start of this part. I'm not expecting to win the Champions League. We don't have a good enough squad yet. We've not got established in the Champions League either. So I am expecting, hopefully, I mean, the board have set a target of reaching the semi-finals. I think that's very, very difficult. Hoping the quarter-finals, but to be able to beat Real Madrid in the round of 16 is going to be very, very tough. But yeah, we do have this game coming up now. We'll quickly actually take a look at those league games we just simmed past against Newcastle, who we beat, and Chelsea we drew against, so not too bad. Okay, on to the home leg of this game against Real Madrid now. We need to obviously get ourselves a decent result here. Hopefully not concede too many away goals that will leave us in a position where we can't obviously get back into it. Mane scores 1 minute in. I'm not going to get too excited because we are just 1 minute in. But Real Madrid putting a slightly weakened team, a couple of players in there that maybe you wouldn't expect to be in there. But other than that, obviously very, very good players amongst them. Real Madrid have Bale, Ronaldo, Benzema, those sort of players. Still 1-0 up here. I'd take a 1-0, but obviously Real Madrid would still be able to get back into it at that stage. Just hoping they don't score against us. 10 minutes left to hold out. 5 minutes to go, and Coutinho makes it 2-0. Fantastic end to the game. It's a 2-0 win against Real Madrid. well, there's still a second leg to be played. Okay, we're going to be simming the second leg now against Real Madrid. We won't be simming it through the usual route. We'll do it through the calendar to hopefully give us a better result. We'll wait and see whether that does work. A 2-1 loss would be enough to get through here. Obviously, we want to try and win, or a draw would be okay in order to get through to the next round. How have we got on? A 0-0. Fantastic. We knocked Real Madrid out of the Champions Cup round of 16. Was not expecting that. Very, very happy with that result. And to top it off, we also got a draw against Manchester City before then, and a win against Leicester that was 3-0. So very, very happy with that. We'll move on to, the next round, Bayern Munich. This is going to be very, very tough. Okay, so we're at the quarterfinals now against Bayern Munich. We'll quickly take a look at those games I've quickly just simmed. Beating Everton 3-0, beating West Brom 3-0, drawing to Villa 2-0. That's disappointing. Dropped points there. How did we get on against Man U? Lost. Might leave us in an interesting position in the league at the moment. We'll take a look at the league position in a second. Okay, so this is the current Premier League table. 4 points behind Arsenal. A little bit disappointed we've managed to slip away from the title race a little bit here. There's still 7 games to go, so plenty of time. But it's looking a little bit less likely at the moment. It would have to be a big turnaround. It's clearly between the top 3 teams, though, for the title, unless Chelsea were able to make some sort of miraculous recovery from that. But I can't see that happening, to be honest. 9 points behind Arsenal. But yeah, Arsenal to go on and win the Premier League, potentially. That'd be a shame if that happened. But we've got this game against Bayern Munich now to deal with, first of all. And it's the first leg. There's a couple of changes, mainly to the bench, though. Our first team changes slightly. Lallana comes in, Henderson's injured, as are a couple of other players as well. So it's a slightly weaker bench with Markovic and Onuma on there. But how can we get on here? Not a great start. An away goal for Bayern Munich early on. Dybala scoring. Lacazette equalising. That's a very, very good way to equalise just a few minutes afterwards. 1-1 here. We could do with the second goal, really, especially with them having that away goal. We really could do with another one. We will skip, I think, in the 65th minute. Okay, yeah, didn't really skip at the right time. Dybala there scoring a second away goal. This could be the part where we leave the Champions Cup, where we get knocked out 2-1 down to Bayern Munich. They have the 2 away goals. I think we might have to admit defeat here in the quarterfinals. It's not bad, though, to be honest. Considering it's our first year in the Champions League, quarterfinals isn't too bad, especially when we've had some very, very tough teams as well. Okay, so we've just simmed past Arsenal, and we beat them 1-0, actually. That's fantastic news, because they're top of the league, so we might be able to get very, very close to them, and that could mean we might have a big chance at winning the Premier League, potentially. On to the second leg against Bayern Munich, as I always do with the away leg. I am going to sim it through the calendar to give us the best possible chance of going through. Those chances are very, very slim, obviously. And we won the game 1-0, but combined with a 2-1 win, it's not enough. We go out on away goals, of all things. Disappointing, but we did, I think, do very, very well to be able to get through into that round, especially beating Real Madrid, which was fantastic. And a 1-0 win against Bayern Munich is pretty decent as well. But gutted that we have gone out in only the quarterfinals. Not managed to meet the board objective, but still a very, very good result, I think, if you consider the teams we've gone up against. That means the only games we have left to play are the Premier League games. Obviously, we've not managed to meet any of our proper objectives, really, this season so far. Going out of the FA Cup, going out of the Champions League early. But still, I think we've done very, very well in the Champions League, so I'm not too disheartened by that. But the only one that we can properly achieve now is the Premier League one. So we're going to sim the rest of the fixtures, finish off the season, and hopefully end on a high with the Premier League win. Can we win the Premier League title? Let's wait and see. We've got 3 games there which we've just simmed for the end of April. A lot of games kind of very, very close in April. It's not the same with May, and hopefully that will mean that we can pick up some decent results against Watford, Middlesbrough and Stoke City. I reckon we probably can, but it's just whether the other teams around us have dropped points. Hopefully haven't slipped up like we did earlier on in the season against some of these lesser sides. So that's really what it will kind of sit on, whether we are able to beat some of these teams, because even though they are less difficult, we did slip up against these sides earlier on. How have we got on? Stoke City will be the final game of the season for us to play. Hopefully we've managed to get ourselves 3 points in pretty much all these games is what we'll need to be able to win the Premier League, and that will decide who does win it. Let's see how have we got on in the Premier League. Stoke City being the final game that we will sim in a second. Middlesbrough, it's a 3-0 win. Watford a 3-0 win. We do seem to like our 3-0 wins. Swansea drawing to them, beating Hull City and beating Norwich. Very good results. It's all down to Stoke, though. If we slip up here, I think we might have lost the title. Let's be positive. Let's hope we've beaten them. Well, yeah. Jinxed it. Lost 1-0. I think we might have just lost the title on the final day of the season. Have we? Let's wait and see. How do we get on? Oh, we actually won the league. We by 3 points. The other teams around us must have slipped up quite dramatically. We've won the league on 75 points. Not a big tally, but it's a tally that wins us the league anyway. And it beats Spurs and Arsenal to the title as well, which is fantastic news. Other teams, in fact Everton, good news for you Liverpool fans, but Everton have been relegated. Wow, that's a bit of a shocker. Other teams have not done so well. Manchester United 6th there, but very, very happy with a Premier League title victory on our final season as Liverpool manager. Very, very happy with that. I think we've done a very good job considering the sort of the wage budget we've had, the transfer budget, I mean, in particular, and the sort of players that have had to leave and that sort of thing. I think we've done very, very well. I think the board have been a bit harsh on us there with the popularity rating. We are below target on a few things, but we couldn't win the FA Cup. We got to round of 32. Not so good with that one. A little bit disappointed there. A loss to Southampton. And we didn't quite reach the semi-finals, but I felt that target was a little bit too high anyway. But yeah, very, very happy overall with how we got on. We won the Premier League title. That was our main objective as opposed to winning the Premier League. We weren't able to win the FA Cup, which was very disappointing, really. But yeah, that's not too bad. We managed to evolve Liverpool very nicely. Brought in some really good players over the couple of seasons that I've been with them. And we've also managed to develop a couple of players as well. Coutinho going up to 89 overall now. But I think we've managed to do this team a very, very good job. Some very, very good players here as well. And we've kept a lot of the players as well. There's not too many players we've had to sign. Obviously, there's a few here and there. But overall, this is, as you can see, very much a Liverpool side. That is everything, though, for the final part of the Evolving Liverpool Career Mode series. If you have enjoyed it, please go ahead and hit that like button. And also don't forget to go ahead and subscribe as well if you haven't already. Let's try and hit 40 likes on today's part 2 episode. And yeah, that is everything for today's video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.